Today's linguistic topic is language acquisition. We will be talking about positive reinforcement in this video. This presentation will be done by Indira Flowers, Coiling Cartaneja, Jenny Nogad, and Afeni Lewis.
It is effective in establishing new behaviors. Saying things like good job, excellent, perfect 100, very creative, you did it, a great improvement is positive reinforcement. And in psychology, positive reinforcement is a procedure where a response is followed by a presentation of reinforcing stimulus. As a result, makes the response stronger or more likely to occur in the future. Positive reinforcement works because the brain connects to the reward and the subject will repeat the target action in hopes of being rewarded in the future. Some other examples are children being given an allowance for the week or treats, to encourage children to complete chores, or just praising them for undertaking tasks without being asked. Examples in the workplace: bosses giving bonuses to workers for a job well done throughout the year, or raise of pay to employees for great sales. Another examples in the classroom are giving students extra points for being interested in schoolwork, or just for participating, or just getting praise from the librarian for being quiet in the library.
Psychologist Edward L. Thorndike was born in 1874 and passed away in 1949. He was the first scientist to systematically study operant conditioning. In his research, Thorndike observed cats who had been placed in a puzzle box from which they tried to escape. At first, the cat scratched, bit, and pasted chaotically without any idea how to get out. But eventually and accidentally, they pressed the lever that opened the door and exited to their prize, a scrap of fish. The next time the cat was constrained within the box, it attempted fewer of the ineffective responses before carrying out the successful escape, and after several trials, the cat learned to almost immediately make the correct response. Observing these changes in the cat's behavior led Thorndike to develop his law of effect, the principle that responses that create a typically pleasant outcome in a particular situation are more likely to occur again in a similar situation, whereas responses that produce a typically unpleasant outcome are less likely to occur again in a situation. The essence of the law of effect is that successful responses, because they are pleasurable, are stamped in by experience and thus occur more frequently. Berhurst Frederick Skinner was born in 1904 and passed away in 1990. Skinner is regarded as the father of operant conditioning, but his work was based on Thorndike's law of effect. Skinner introduced a new term into the law of effect: reinforcement. Behavior which is reinforced tends to be repeated, such as strengthened. Behavior which is not reinforced tends to die out or be extinguished, such as weakened. Skinner argued that children learn language based on behaviorist reinforcement principles by associating words with meanings. Correct utterances are positively reinforced when a child realizes the communicative value of words and phrases. Skinner showed how positive reinforcement worked by placing a hungry rat in his Skinner box. The box contained a lever on the side, and as the rat moved about the box, it would accidentally knock the lever. Immediately it did so, a food pellet would drop into a container next to the lever. The rats quickly learned to go straight to the lever after a few times of being put in the box. The consequence of receiving food if they pressed the lever ensured that they would repeat the action again and again. Positive reinforcement strengthens a behavior by providing a consequence an individual finds rewarding. For example, if your teacher gives you $5 each time you complete your homework, such as a reward, you will be more likely to repeat this behavior in the future, thus strengthening the behavior of completing your homework.
Positive reinforcement can give a person a sense of self-worth by making the person feel good about the way they perform. It lets the person feel good about him or herself. Positive reinforcement lets the person know when they are making progress and in which area they can increase more as they excel in a certain area, whether it is their job or schoolwork. It also elevates if there is any self-doubt the person may be having about the abilities to perform well. Positive reinforcement also encouraging good behavior. Positive reinforcement can increase the chance of a desired behavior reoccurring in the future. The person receives a reward that encourages the person to continue the good performance early after school. The child will continue the pattern if he is receiving what he wants.
According to Professor Michael Perot from the West Virginia State University, the line between positive and negative reinforcement is not always clear, which makes measuring the results difficult. He further stated that too much positive reinforcement can lead to fatigue or praise overload, which can diminish the results. So, a major disadvantage of positive reinforcement would be that it creates a dependence to become more skilled individuals. In other words, children or students, even employees, would depend on a reward to encourage the behavior. Some parents believe that paying their child to do chores around the house would eventually encourage them to do so without being told. Some teachers reward their students with little tokens or even verbal acknowledgement for a job well done. This makes the child or the student want to participate and do good deeds in the classroom. And then many times employees go out of their way to get the attention of their bosses or employers in order to get a raise. And this is done probably through staying back after office hours to complete tasks that were given to them or doing more than his or her share of work. The point is, whether you're a child at home, at school, or even a working adult, most times you become dependent on a reward in order to perform what is expected of you. There is a saying that goes, nothing comes for free, and that is exactly what is illustrated in this disadvantage or flaw of positive reinforcement. Our work doesn't come freely. We want something in return for our extra efforts.
In linguistics, syntax is a set of rules that governs the structure of sentences in a given language, including the word order. It explains how words are combined to form phrases, clauses, and sentences. Every word in language belongs to a category. For instance, the determiner, noun, verb, the dog runs, is a sentence that a speaker of English could produce, so we call it grammatically correct. However, we could not put this in order: noun, determiner, then verb, being dog, the runs, because that is not a sentence that can be produced by the rules of English, and it's called ungrammatical or grammatically wrong. The study of syntax therefore looks at the ways in which the word categories can be ordered and combined. This means looking at the order and distribution of those categories. When babies are born, they can already respond to the rhythm of language. They can recognize stress, pace, and the rise and fall of pitch. As early as 4 months, infants can distinguish between language, songs, and other noise. For instance, they know the difference between a spoken word or a clap. By 6 months, babies begin to babble and coo, and this is the first sign that the baby is learning a language. Babies are now capable of making all the songs in all the languages of the world, but by the time they are a year old, they will have dropped the songs that aren't a part of their language they are learning. In order to communicate, Babies can now recognize grounds of songs and can distinguish words, word boundaries. Although they recognize these songs group as words, they may not know what the songs mean. At this point, children are able to attach meaning to words. Once they can do that, they can begin to build a vocabulary. They begin to mimic new words as they hear, and by the time they are 1 year old, they will have a vocabulary of around 50 words.
Like me cookie, which means may I have a cookie? 30 to 36 months, and by this stage or age, about 90% of what children say is grammatically correct. This means the mistakes they make are usually things like adding ed to irregular verbs to perform the past tense. For example, they might say I fallen down instead of I fell down. They learn the grammatical rule to form the past tense by adding ed to a verb, but not yet learn the exceptions to the rule. Beyond 3 years, as they grow, children continue to expand their vocabulary and develop more complex language. By the preteen years, kids begin to use what are called although-type sentences. These sentences show a concession such as, even though a man was tired, he kept working. Young children would likely say, the man was tired but he kept working.
This brings us to the conclusion of our video about language acquisition. Here are some references that you can use to get a better knowledge about positive reinforcement.